at operating level. All subsequent tones should be referenced to this signal.
Welcome everybody to your pontification station on YouTube, Bubba Army Central. I'm here to talk today about something really important. Maybe the Bubba tide has turned. Maybe the tide on these pricks has turned a little bit. Or maybe just the tide, maybe Bubba's luck has just started to turn. And I really hope so, and I really think so. And today was a real red letter day for Bubba. That being a post that the Tampa Bay Business Journal posted was actually amended a little bit. Like they actually went in and edited it a little bit, and that they were listening to Bubba, and I think that's pretty important. So, a little backstory. Bubba is selling his house. He's downsizing. He jokes a lot of times that he's going broke, which I don't doubt. With all these lawsuits and everything else that's been going on, I don't doubt that the man is going broke whatsoever. It's a shame. It really is a shame. I look at some of these other radio personalities. This is just a quick offbeat thing, but I look at some of these other radio personalities that don't have half the talent and half the gumption that this man has, and he, they're making a ton of money, and Bubba's, they're saying, is worth $4 million, if you believe that. It's probably less, and the most of that money is probably wrapped up into his assets, like his buildings and his race park and things of this nature. It's not like he's got $4 million in his back pocket. Okay? One other thing I'll say about that is, Bubba sacrifices a lot of money, and, he could probably go to a lot of different radio stations and be PC and promise to be PC and change his show up, and he would probably make more money. But you know what? He does it for us, the fans. And, he's sort of that rebel. He is radio's bad boy, in a way. I mean, look, he's still getting crucified to this day. It's like people just cannot get enough of trying to get Bubba off the air. And, it continues. So Bubba's selling his house, okay? And it's a lovely house. It's not my style, it's not something I would live in, but it's... I would take that second floor of his. It's got a huge media room and a kitchen, and, but back in the day, in the late 90s when Bubba was balling and thought he needed a Rolexes and thought he needed a big mansion, he did that. He went out and bought himself a big piece of land, and he built himself a really big house. So, Bubba's in this position where he's selling his house for whatever reason. And the Tampa Bay Business Journal decides to mention that he's selling his house, and that this is the place where the infamous Hulk Hogan tape with Bubba's wife was filmed. True. Maybe you're going to help out Bubba there a little bit. Maybe some swinging dick will come in and be like, that's the house that he wants because of the fact that happened there. Who knows? People are weird. People do weird things in the world. So who knows? Maybe in a weird roundabout way, that'll help Bubba out. But they also mention in this article that they edited that he is the person who leaked the sex tape to Gawker and the media and all these things. And that's not true. Okay, it's not true. So, Bubba gets on the air today, and he basically... He's making, he's talking to the gerbil who wrote the story, and she's the senior writer for the Tampa Bay Business Journal, Miss or Mrs. Gerbil, and she decides that she's going to say, yeah, Bubba, she does no research, or does not, you guys live in this town, you think you would know this story a little better, but Bubba didn't, put that tape out there, or, that video out there. He didn't. And saying such a thing is pretty liable, especially since it's been vetted pretty well by the police, the FBI, court documents, and all of these things. One of the reasons why I started this channel is I really wanted to get Bubba's message out. Nobody's watching me. The interns, they made sure to, mention that nobody's watching my channel. I've done, I don't know, but I've done some bits, and I've been trying to do some weirdness on this channel. I wanted to do some parodies. But one of the main reasons I started this channel is all this talk about the sex tape and trying to get Bubba fired and Cowhead, the collusion with Spice Boy and everything has just riveted me. I'm really riveted about it. I can't believe I love hearing all of this about it. Even though I want it to end for Bubba someday, I mean, all these stories have been, riveting. That these people go around doing these sort of things and get away with it. I mean, Spice Boy took these DVDs out of Bubba's office, okay, and then wanted to do something with them and make some money. When he figured out he couldn't, he handed them off to Cowhead, a.k.a. Mike Calta, who is still on the radio in Tampa Bay, on the Bone, owned by Cox Media, who's obviously a bunch of cocks, because, I mean, only a bunch of cocks keeps a dick like him around, okay? And boy, when, the Bone wanted Bubba back in, in 2008, boy, they sure went out of their way to do everything for him. But when this guy, one of Mike Halta's friends, took over the station, the tide completely turned on Bubba. Everybody started treating him like a dick. Part of it probably is, they're not in the building. They're, they're easy to be made fun of and talked about because he wasn't there to defend himself. A lot of bullshit. But this woman who writes the article today, she just puts it right out there that Bubba made the tape available to Gawker, that he released it. I mean, that's just a bunch of bullshit. So like I said, you got to do your due diligence, media. And I wish the Tampa Bay media would do something for Bubba. I mean, you would think that somebody would be on Bubba's side, but nobody's on Bubba's side. I don't know. Like I said, that's why I started this channel, is to get some of this information out there. I don't know who's listening. Nobody's probably listening, but it completely infuriates me because I really do think Bubba is a good guy. And I think Bubba is a great guy. And he is really loyal to people. He's a loyal motherfucker. And he always has been. I'll give two examples. Well, one is a good example, and one of them is a shit example. But the shit example is his ex-producer that left Jabberjaw, okay? Her name is Kim. And once she left Bubba, boy, did she talk a lot of shit about him on Twitter. I don't have that. I should have written a few things down. It doesn't matter because that's not what it was about. But he still has taken the high road with her, and he's been talking good stuff about her. And I'll say some of the things that Bubba can't say and doesn't say because he has taken the high road. Jabberjaw, you are one ugly bitch. You bagged up bitch. I don't even have bags under my eyes, okay? And I'm older than you and fatter than you. And Jabberjaw, you're ugly, okay? And not to mention, you were, I don't know how good of a producer you were behind the scenes, but I didn't care for you. And every time you talked, it was just a lot of bullshit, okay? The second person Bubba's loyal to, Howard Stern. Let's talk about Howard Stern for a second. Is it just a coincidence that Howard Stern's agent is Don Buchwald? And Don Buchwald, one of his cronies that works for Don Buchwald is a guy named Tony Burton, and he's Cowhead, Mike Calta's agent. Boy, isn't that a coincidence. And isn't it a coincidence that Howard hasn't had Bubba on the air since all this stuff came out? Isn't it a coincidence that Howard Stern doesn't reach out to Bubba? I mean, you would think that, that Bubba or Howard would be embarrassed that this stuff is going on. And I don't know, Bubba hasn't mentioned if Howard's called him and, said anything to him about it. But you know what? I'm betting he hasn't. I'm betting. Now, I think they've said he's talked to him a little bit or emailed a little bit here and there. But I think it's like coincidental stuff. It has nothing to do with the situation. But Howard, come on. That's your agent's, your agent's guy. Now, you could stick up for Bubba, but he ain't going to stick up for Bubba because, Don Buchwald has made Howard millions upon millions and upon millions of dollars. And obviously that's what's important to Howard. I mean, he's stingy. He treats his show like shit. All the hard workers, all the grunt workers get paid nothing to the point where they have to take on outside gigs to make ends meet or try to have a good life. I mean, isn't that sad? Howard takes care of Robin and Fred, and that's it. I mean, you want to talk about Howard, what a goofball he is. I mean, the ratings are non-existent for him in Howard's world. The money for him is guaranteed. Yet when Opie Hughes of the Opie show walks down the hallway one morning and says hi to the man, he's told he can't do that anymore. Well, he's not told that. He's just told when Howard comes by, you need to stay out in the elevator bank and watch Howard, the fucking crane, walk by the weird-looking motherfucker that he is. And I used to love Howard Stern, okay? But then, you start figuring these things out. I don't know if I'm just a monkey or what, but you start to figure these things out, that Howard isn't in it for anybody but himself. And Opie's shift changed from morning to afternoon. That probably was from Howard. Howard's got a lot of pull around there. And everybody knows that Howard's got a lot of pull at Sirius. But you don't help out Bubba. He could try to get Bubba back in there, but he wasn't going to do that. He's certainly not going to do it now that all this Hogan suing, Hogan is suing Don Buchwald and Associates and Tony Burton. So Howard's not going to help out Bubba now. I mean, Howard, you're a piece of shit. And I'll say it for Bubba. Bubba keeps talking all this great stuff about how you gave him his opportunity back to get in radio, and that may be true, okay? But that's it. That's all he did for you. He hasn't done jack shit for you otherwise, in my opinion, and I kind of keep my ears open, and I kind of see the writing on the wall, and a lot of times what I think, sometimes this fat brain thinks of things, and I don't know if it's true at the time, but months later or years later, the truth comes out, and I'm usually right about what I'm thinking. So yeah, Howard, you're a piece of shit. Okay? So, it's pretty sad, and it's what makes me upset, is that Bubba is a loyal guy, and nobody sticks up for him. Nobody. Not these news people in the town. I don't know, if it's like Bubba says, that Bubba's a rock star and Bubba's guys are rock stars and you guys just can't handle that, but it's sad. And Howard, I was disappointed in you that you don't stick up for Bubba, but now that I find out all this stuff that Don Buchwald's involved and everything else, no kidding, you're not going to stick up for Bubba. So, I don't know, I'm all over the road here. But, like I said, the tide was turned today when the Tampa Bay Business Journal had a edit their story and take out the little bit about Bubba leaking that video to the media, because it didn't happen. Okay? But I think Tampa Bay Business Journal owes Bubba a big apology. And I think maybe this is where the tide is turning. People are starting to open their eyes about Mike Calta and everything else. They will not last this lawsuit. Mike Calta will be fired. You think Cox Media is going to get sued for you think when Hogan dings them for God only knows what he's suing him for, that they're going to keep his fucking smelly ass around? No. His And I heard a couple more things, that there's another sex tape coming out. Oh yeah? Or that there's another videotape coming out. Yeah, because you knew all about it. And you're going down, Mike Calta. Going down. Down, down, down. You're going to be in the same position Bubba's in a few years. But let me tell you something. You're not just going to be selling your house and your cars. You're going to be done. Nobody's going to want you on the radio. And maybe, if you're lucky, you'll be, somewhere in Iowa on a 5,000 watt station. Is all we can hope. True Bubba fans, Bubba Army, you know the deal. Yeah, Bubba's a freak. And Bubba likes to do some freaky things. And I think that's done. I think it's over with. And I think Bubba's style and the way he does things has turned. He's taken the high road. He's become a different person. Maybe he does need to be a dick with some of his workers and all that other stuff. But I think, the days of sharing, women and, partying like that is over. And, hey, boy, when she, truly I believe that, this woman that he was with, yeah, she was a freak and she liked to do some freaky things, threesomes, this and that and the other. And I don't think Bubba gave a shit. Bubba, unfortunately, at that time, did a lot of pills. And, maybe he couldn't, give it to her as many times a day as she wanted. So, he let Hogan fill in for him. Why not? I mean, if somebody's going to fill in for you, might as well be your best friend, okay? But whatever. I have one more pontification in this video, that the tide is turning. But, yeah, I think Hogan and Bubba, my thoughts on it is that they parted ways, legitimately saying to each other, hey, we'll get back to each other someday. We're good friends. But we can't be associated with each other at all during this time. So that's what I'm hoping. I don't know. Hogan seems like a digger too, just whatever he can get out at Bubba. Those free chicken sandwiches and all this other stuff. I don't know. But Bubba seems, he's saddened about the fact. But I truly think that Bubba is saddened that Hogan's not in his life anymore. Hogan is Tyler's godfather, as messed up as that is. He was Bubba's best man at his wedding. Bubba has lost a lot. Bubba lost his woman just recently. I mean, what? Nikki, just because Bubba lost Tampa, you didn't think he was going to get it back or whatever, he wasn't going to be on the radio anymore, so you weren't going to be his man anymore? I don't know. Maybe I'm all over the road here, and I don't even want to get to talking about her, how she didn't even have to work for multiple years and, could sit by the fucking pool. And then, when she saw that maybe things were changing for Bubba, she ran faster than, she hit that door faster than me hitting a buffet. That's sad, Nikki. That's pretty sad. So, I don't know. But hopefully, this is a 20-minute video, and I'm just hoping and praying the tide is turning in Bubba's favor, and soon and shortly enough we start to see things like the Tampa Bay Business Journal recant their story a little bit, and take that away. And I hope they're the first of some people starting to listen and open their eyes. And that's just bullshit that people just do. They're in business to, document and record these things, and the news needs to get out, but not the improper news, not the wrong news. So we'll see what happens in the future. But Bubba, I think you're going to be a rich man when this is all said and done. That's all we can say. My wife and I always say this, that when this is said and done, you're going to have some cash, brother. And, hey, it's worth it for me to talk about how shocked I am, because I just want to get the word out to other people that may not know about this. You can always go to spiceboysathief.com and read the police report. It's a huge 30-something pages. The police report about what an imbecile he is. Like he wasn't going to get caught in this day and age. This isn't the 1920s where you can do shit and not get caught for it. I mean, this is the digital age where there's, footprints of everything. You're going to send emails to people, and you're going to talk to people, and you're going to set up all kinds of meetings, and you're going to talk about things, and you're going to do this and do that. There's a digital footprint out there in that web. And, of course, Bubba, because he's spotlighted, he's got the spotlight on him. Everybody looks at Bubba and thinks of what a goofball he is or freak that he is. Let's get into your email. And let's get into your computer and see what's going on. Everybody's got something that they do that they, you know, might feel a little dirty about. You know, one of my dirty secrets used to be telling people that I was a Bubba the Love Sponge fan. That was one of my dirty little secrets, because people would look at me and think I'm crazy. Who the hell is Bubba the Love Sponge? And I'd have to explain it. So I just didn't. But now, I tell people to listen to Bubba. And I try to get my message out there. So that's what I'm doing. Everybody start listening to Bubba. Let's support this guy. You know, like I said, I wanted to start. I've been talking about doing this channel for a year. And I just started a month ago because I kept wussing out and pussing out because I didn't want to put my face out there, and I was just going to use my voice. Which I understand talking now. You got to really have something to hydrate yourself. And I was, you know, I was frankly a little hesitant to start a channel like this because I felt like, who's going to watch me? Who's going to care? But guess what? I care. I hope Bubba's watching these videos and seeing that I care about him and that I've been pimping his channels. I've been pimping his merchandise. I've been pimping subscribing to him. Whatever. Maybe I'm a mark, but I truly believe in you, Bubba. And the truth will come out and the truth will set you free. Everybody have a great day. And remember, Bubba Army, strong. Bubba Army proud. And be proud of Bubba. He's a good guy. Takes care of his guys. Have a great day.